I have always loved stealth games. There's something so intriguing about sneaking through an area, slowly picking off guards, and luring them away from their posts that has always kept me interested in them. So today I'm going to break down and analyze the first level from one of my favorite stealth games, Thief Gold. I want to learn how it not only guides the player through the level, but lets the player make their own choices on how to approach it. So, if you haven't played Thief before, it is an immersive stealth sim, which is to say that it is a stealth game with realistic physics and light and sound and general interactions with the world. For example, one of the many ways that Thief hints at how visible the player is this gem at the bottom of the screen. If the gem is bright, you are lit up and will be spotted. If the gem is dark, you can sneak around to your heart's content without making too much noise. When you first start the game, after going through all of the start menus and tutorial and whatnot, you'll be given this objective list. This is one of the many things that Thief does well. It gives you a full rundown of all the checks that you need to complete to finish the level. The harder the difficulty, the more checks the game will give you. And after you read over the checks, you'll be sent to this small shop screen. This is another thing that Thief does well. By giving you options on what items to buy, while also starting you off with a little bit of them all, it allows you to play in many different playstyles and experiment at what you like. For example, you can buy more water arrows and use them to sneak around the mansion in complete darkness. On the other hand, you could buy more regular arrows and pick off guards from afar. You could buy more health potions and try to face the guards head-on with your sword. It is important to note that while the game does allow you to sword fight and try to brute force the levels, it is discouraged and much harder to pull off without dying a lot. This is an issue that comes up a lot in game design. You as the designer make this experience that you want your player to have. So, should you as the designer force the player onto that path for the game, or should you let them explore and play in their own style, even if it means that they are not doing the specific thing or feeling the specific emotion that you wanted them to feel? Once you actually start the level, though, you'll be greeted with this elaborate entrance to the mansion, as well as the guards guarding it. This is one of the things that LookingGlass Studios did very well for Thief. Guards will audibly say exactly what they're thinking. So for example, if you make too much noise, you'll hear a
"Who goes there?"
And when you're spotted, you'll hear a
Ha ha!
Even when the guards do not know you exist, they'll converse with the other guards and talk about their thoughts on things like the security on the mansion, which creates these funny experiences where the guards will argue on how they don't need more people to stop thieves from coming in. The level itself is comprised of 4 sections: the outside, the basement, the first floor, and then the final floor. These areas are all mostly shown on the map. The map for this level is very interesting. To start off, there's a chance you'll never even know that it's there. You can play through the whole game and right at the end learn that you could have seen what room you're in. When you look at the map for this level though, you'll see that it's chocked full of information. It's also nice that if you follow the instructions, you'll see that there's a little arrow stash that'll help you out. Once you get your bearings, you'll look at the map and see that there's at least 3 entrances to the mansion. The side exit, the main entrance, the one by where you spawn in, and the well which leads into the basement. Although you technically can use any of them to get in, there's only one real option. The main entrance is clearly marked as "Do Not Enter" because of the guards, and if you go to where the side exit is, you'll see that it's only accessible by flicking a lever on the other side of the gate, which leads the player directly to the only other option, the well. This is where the game's level design falters, though. Instead of letting the player choose which entrance to go through, they have to follow the pre-written path into the mansion. Thankfully, the game doesn't keep this up for the whole level. Once you finally get into the basement, the hand-holding lets up a little. There are no rooms in the map to tell you which way into the mansion proper, but there are a few routes to go through. The area itself is slightly more maze-like in that there are guard barracks, which are harder to navigate as they all look very similar, but it's still not that hard. This is when you first actually have to sneak past real armed guards too. This is a very interesting section in that if you choose, you may run past the guards and continue on to the first floor, or you can sneak behind them or knock them out and just explore more. This allows more skilled players to get an extra challenge, but also allows less experienced players to not bother with it, giving good varying difficulty options for any player. Other than that though, the basement is no big deal and you can finally get onto the main floor. If the outside and basement floors were LookingGlass Studios guiding you by the hand, then the first floor isn't them not really letting go, but letting you try it on your own with supervision. Like the first time your parents let you use the oven by yourself. It wasn't really by yourself. Your parents just sat at the kitchen table where they could watch what you were doing. There are more paths to go through, and if you look at the map, the first two rooms that most players will enter are not very detailed. Still, you really only have two options, left or right. As you can tell from this fan-made map, the hallways that you can go through are not real hallways that make important differences in how you approach the level, but just bring you to the other side of the rooms you were just in. Again, here you're given the chance to explore these optional rooms to see if there are any goodies waiting for you. These hallways, however, can disorient a new player as it's very possible to get lost, and without a clear map, you can't really find a way out. However, because there are so many more ways to go, you're much more likely to find a way out than if you just got lost in the basement. Once you do find your way out, you'll be greeted with the first mildly interesting stealth area. The main area here is patrolled by at least one guard. I couldn't really tell while I was playing. This is when the game truly allows you to pick your playstyle though. You can lure the guard by jumping or throwing a plate. You can get behind the guard and club him. And you can just try to avoid him entirely. It's up to you. One interesting note here is that by the stairwell, you can flick a lever that opens up the gate that brings you back outside. This is very good wraparound level design for escaping the mansion, which you have to do on higher difficulties. Again, there are more rooms in this section of the first floor that have more treasures for you to get. Once you've gotten all the goodies you want though, you must make your way upstairs to the second floor, and there are only these 3 spots to go up. Here's where the map falters though. The game clearly wants you to go upstairs through one of these 2 stairwells. The third one isn't marked on your map, and there's a message saying to not go over there because of the guards. The issue I have with this is that the game doesn't really give you an option if you want to go there unless you're truly intent on exploring it. I know that when I was playing through the level to get some clips for this section, I didn't know there was anything here until I looked at the more detailed fan maps, and then I went back into the game to see for myself and get these clips. This, however, is an issue we will return to later. Once you do go upstairs, you might find that it is emptier. Now, this has nothing to do with level design, but you would expect that the floor with the most important treasures would also have more guards, right? Nope. I only encountered like 4 guys here when I was playing, and on a first playthrough where you're not trying to explore every nook and cranny of the mansion, you would normally only see 2 of them. One that has the key to the throne room, and the other one that's inside the throne room. But I digress. In terms of exploration, the map will offer absolutely 0 guidance. It will tell you where the scepter is, but almost nothing else. And I'm actually okay with that. I feel like it was a little annoying for the first floor, as that was the first hardish area that a new player would face. But once you get to the second floor, not having a map is okay. It's the game's way of telling you, hey, you might not have a map all the time. Get used to it. The game does this again in the second level, where you truly have no map at all. The second level is also more freeform. Again, in this part of the level, the game allows you to pick your playstyle. You can kill or knock out the head guard, or you can pickpocket the key off of him. It is also more freeform in terms of exploration. You have your main goal to get the scepter, but without your filled map, you truly have to explore on your own, and make your own map either on paper or in your brain. This is, in my opinion, my favorite part of the game. Having to explore the level, ducking past guards, and making your own map. This is the other part of immersive Sims. It is immersive. It makes you feel like you are truly a thief, sneaking through some rich guy's mansion to get his prized possession. Remember when I said that the mansion was split into 4 sections? I lied. There's another floor. On the second floor, you can find a few different staircases up to the 3rd floor. 2 of them will lead you to little storage rooms, but one will lead you to this little area. There's not really that much here, but this is something that I wish was mentioned somewhere in the game. Even if it was a guard passing by and saying, hey, have you seen the new renovated 3rd floor? The only reason I know about this floor is because I was looking at the fan-made maps to get a better feel for the layout of the mansion. It's not really important that I bring this up in the video, but since I'm trying to analyze and learn about LookingGlass Studios' level design for Thief, I thought it'd be interesting to bring up how they added in areas to the level that have absolutely no impact on the gameplay whatsoever, but fleshed out the mansion as not a game level, but a mansion that a rich person in the 1800s might actually live in. So, what have we learned? Well, we've learned that the studio uses different sections of the level to increase difficulty, and these sections match up with the areas of the mansion. However, they also made the level more lifelike by adding in areas that make no impact in the gameplay at all. Because of the sensible layout of a mansion, as well as the large hub rooms that connect to more areas, the player has an easier time orientating themselves, because in real life we orientate ourselves by using large rooms or structures that connect to other areas. Think the Disney castle that has paths branching off to each of its major lands, or mall lobbies that branch off into shops. Furthermore, by removing details from the map, they let the player get lost in the level, which in turn makes them understand it on a deeper level. Still, because the map is empty in certain areas, it also adds a spike in difficulty while preparing the player for levels ahead where there is no map at all. Finally, what is the answer to the question that I posed at the beginning? How does the game not only guide the player through the level, but let the player make their own choices on how to approach it? Well, by creating a linear path through the start of the level, the game teaches the player how it works, and then as the player progresses, the game slowly opens up to more and more choices on how to achieve your end goal. At the beginning, you only have one entrance into the level, but by the end, you have many choices. How do I get the key for the lock? Do I want to risk attention to get more goodies? Should I pick off this final guard or sneak past him? If you're on a harder difficulty, which exit should you take? Hi, thanks for watching. I know this was a very different type of video from what I normally make, so if you want to see more videos like it, subscribe and tell me in the comments. And if you want, tell me which game or level or area or mechanic or otherwise that I should analyze. Thanks for watching and have a great day.